In this video, I'm going to teach you how to hit a forehand swing volley. I recently saw either a video or a reel or whatever it was, and somebody dismissively said, like, that's only a shot that women hit. And to that, I'm going to say, that's baloney. The swing volley is simply hit by really aggressive players that look to finish the point, and just not with a traditional volley. You're trying to finish the point, it's a point-ending shot, and it is pretty risky. But to my mind as a coach, if you hit it at the appropriate time and you miss it, I'm perfectly fine with that. Back when I played, this shot did not exist. I think the first time I ever saw it when Serena Williams or Venus Williams hit it. And the reason for that really is since I've played, a lot of things have changed. Number one is people do hit with more aggressive grips, meaning, yeah, there's still some Eastern forehand grip players, but most of the players these days have semi-Western grips, and people in general hit a lot heavier topspin. And if you do those two things anyways, it makes it a lot easier to transition into net on higher volleys, to use that grip and that motion to then hit a swing volley. It's also a lot easier to hit these shots with way lighter rackets. You can maneuver it so much easier. You know, when a racket weighs, what, 300 grams? And when I played, I hit with a racket 380 grams. So this here, I can swing a lot faster, create more topspin, which is exactly what I need when I hit swing volleys. And then lastly, I see less and less time spent teaching kids proper volleys with the continental grip. I even had parents jump down my throat when I wanted to teach their kid regular volleys, old school volleys. Why I'm wasting time with those volleys when you can just simply hit swing volleys. Now that's a total pet peeve of mine. I think you need both volleys. But since this is a video on the swing volley, when do you actually hit swing volleys? Most of the swing volleys that you're going to hit are hit in mid-court. After you hit a really aggressive ball and you notice that your opponent is big time in trouble, you either pull them way out of the court or you push them off the baseline, and a lot of times they're not even really looking at the court anymore. All they have left is to bump a ball up, and that's what you need to read. And you got to get really fast from baseline into mid-court to then finish the point with a swing volley. To make the swing volley a little less risky, you have to really haul hiney to get up as close to net as possible. You're trying to catch that ball above net line. If you're hesitating and you're coming in, that's going to be a problem. The ball drops below net line, and that's going to be really difficult to lift the ball enough to make it go over. And for a lower volley, you're then in the wrong grip. You don't have the time to then switch into your continental grip, so yeah, you got to really haul hiney. You need massive topspin. Remember, you're way inside the court, you have less room to hit into, so you need that rotation to basically suck the ball down and keep it in play. And I've found that the best way to do that is either with an open stance or with a semi-open stance. And you're basically setting up as if you were to hit a really heavy forehand, meaning that you work with your offhand, your non-dominant hand here to get a good coil, and you're also sinking lower, which if you are using your offhand, by the way, I just made a video about that, so check that out if you missed it. If you have a good upper body coil, it is almost impossible not to sink lower. So you really set up your entire body, and then you release that energy from the ground up. When you first start working on your swing volley, I would suggest that you literally just start where you would usually hit it, to just learn and get a feel for how you have to address this ball, how you have to swing. And then of course you gradually start further back, and you're then basically introducing the distance that you have to cover to get up to that ball. When I work on swing volleys, either by myself or with clients that I'm teaching, I do like to set up the ball machine in a corner, because that's usually where you get the balls from, because you just push somebody off the court, unless you play a moon baller. And I'll explain how to use the swing volleys to interrupt their game style a little later, so stick around. But for now, set them up in the corner and we'll talk about the targets. It's a super aggressive shot. go right into the middle of the half of the court. Remember, it's all about the time factor, really. Yes, of course, the pace of your swing volley is also a huge factor. Most likely it's actually faster than the incoming ball, the higher ball that you're taking the swing volley on. But you're taking the ball so far inside the court that you really do not need to go anywhere close to the lines. And since I forgot my targets, my back will serve as one. If the ball's coming from the outside, I just attacked a right-hander's backhand. I pushed him off the court there, right where the runner is. I am probably going to choose to go cross court to the deuce court. Number one, it's my body's natural rotation, and of course, it's the open court. If the ball's coming from the deuce court, I personally still tend to go back to the deuce court because A, I'm going behind them, behind my opponent, and it is still my natural rotation, and I feel it's a little bit of a higher percentage shot in a high-risk situation. But whichever direction you're choosing, stay away from the lines. Moonballers, formerly known as pushers, givers of no pace, people that basically lob every single ball. So for those, you can absolutely set up the ball machine in the middle because those players will lob literally from anywhere. How do you use the swing volleys to beat a giver of no pace? So the giver of no pace will give you balls that are sitting somewhere in the middle of the court. They push you way back behind the baseline. A lot of times they're high and they're super slow. And what do most people try to do? They're trying to slap winners from way behind the baseline. So using a swing volley to interrupt those moon balls is changing the rhythm of the point. Even if you're missing a few points, you're now telling your opponent that they can no longer afford to just bump the balls up. And of course, you're also changing the pace of the ball itself. So now your opponent hopefully feels the pressure that they have to play more precise. They may have to go closer to the lines. They may have to change the pace of their own shots, which is not something that they want to do. So stick with it for a little bit for the strategy change to take effect. And also, if you're making these balls, the swing volleys, again, go for huge margins. It's almost impossible for the other player to get under the ball and lob a ball again. So changing the rhythm, you're interrupting that rhythm. That's what a swing volley is all about. And if you need more suggestions on how to beat the givers of no pace, check out this video.